Have you ever wondered why so many seniors, after 60, seem to fade away quietly? There's a mystery behind the subtle decline that isn't explained by common health issues or obvious ailments. Imagine a world where the spark that once made you feel alive suddenly dims, leaving you wondering, where did that vibrant energy go? In this video, we explore thought-provoking questions. What if there's more to aging than what meets the eye? How do our bodies and minds communicate when we lose that sense of being truly alive? And why is it that some seniors struggle to feel alive again despite leading what appears to be an active lifestyle? These aren't just idle musings. For many seniors, the journey beyond 60 is marked by challenges that go unnoticed. Perhaps you've seen a loved one or even felt it yourself as the spark diminishes ever so quietly. What if rediscovering that inner connection could transform not only your days, but your overall quality of life? Today, we're diving deep into these questions, unraveling clues that may just help you or someone you care about reclaim that lost vitality. This isn't about quick fixes or miracle cures. It's about understanding the subtle signs your body sends when you're ready to feel alive again. Before we continue, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of the insights coming your way. All right, let's begin. Number 1, the hidden disconnect. Why some seniors quietly fade. When Robert turned 74, everything seemed fine on the outside. He still walked to the store, kept his home tidy, and met neighbors with a polite nod. But over time, something shifted. He stopped humming in the kitchen. His days grew quieter, meals lost their taste, sleep came in shallow waves, and no one really noticed. I've seen this pattern far too often, seniors slowly fading not because of heart attacks or illness, but because of something much quieter: disconnection. What exactly are they disconnected from? Not their loved ones, not their memories, but from their own bodies. There's a part of us that feels deeply alive, not just when we move or exercise, but when we feel pleasure, warmth, closeness. For many older adults, that part begins to dim with time, and not because it has to, but because they've been taught to let it go. The messages start subtly. You're too old for that. Act your age. That's not appropriate anymore. And eventually those messages become beliefs. Quiet beliefs that whisper, this part of life is over. So they stop touching, stop noticing, stop exploring. They forget what it feels like to feel good in their own skin. But this disconnection isn't just emotional, it's biological. When touch and pleasure are removed from life, the brain changes. Hormones that support mood and memory decline. Circulation slows, sleep gets worse, motivation drops. Even the immune system feels it. This isn't about sexuality alone. It's about aliveness. Robert wasn't sick. He was disconnected from sensation, from joy, from the simple feeling of being whole. And once that feeling fades, the body follows. But here's the hopeful truth. That connection can come back, even after years, even after loss, even if you've forgotten what it means to feel fully present in your own body. In the next part, I'll show you what your body remembers, even if you've gone years without listening, because the body never forgets how to feel. It's just waiting for you to return. If this speaks to something inside you, consider subscribing so you won't miss the rest of this journey. And if you have thoughts or questions, share them in the comments. We read every word and reply when we can. Number 2, what your body knows that you forgot. May was 77 when she came to see me, not because something was wrong, but because, in her words, I just feel like I've gone a little dim. She had no major illness, no new medications, nothing her primary doctor could point to, but something in her had gone quiet. What May didn't realize was that her body still held wisdom. Her mind had started to ignore. You see, our bodies are built for connection, not just emotional or intellectual connection, but physical ones too. We're wired for touch, for sensation, for rhythms that keep us in tune with ourselves. These aren't luxuries. They're part of what makes the whole system work. When the body is regularly engaged in pleasurable, comforting sensation, something beautiful happens. Blood flows more freely, to the brain, to the heart, to the skin. Hormones that protect our bones, regulate our mood, and sharpen our focus begin to rise. The nervous system relaxes into a calmer, more stable state. The brain becomes more resilient, memory sharpens, sleep deepens. And yet, most people are never told this. Instead, they're told to walk more, eat better, maybe do puzzles. But very few are told that reconnecting with their body could have the same, if not greater effect on their health than any supplement on the shelf. May had forgotten what her own body could give her. Many people do. Years of caregiving, grief, or simply being busy with life make us drift away from that inner spark. But when we ignore it for too long, the systems begin to slow, not because we're broken, but because we've stopped feeding what keeps them alive. Reconnection doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as giving yourself time to notice warmth in your hands, the feel of sunlight on your skin, a quiet moment when your chest rises and falls, and you remember this is still my body. May started small. She took slow walks without headphones. She let herself nap in the afternoon sun. She massaged her hands with gentle oil before bed, and slowly something returned. Color in her cheeks, energy in her voice, light behind her eyes. Her body hadn't forgotten how to feel. It had just been waiting for permission. The truth is, we don't age out of needing pleasure. We age into needing it more consciously. And our bodies, if we listen, will guide us back. If this feels like something your body needs to hear, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you've ever felt this quiet drift away from yourself, leave a comment. You're not alone and your story matters here. Number 3, stories that don't get told. Eli had been married for over 50 years. After his wife passed, something in him went still. He didn't speak much about it, not to his kids, not to his friends at the diner where he still had coffee every Wednesday. People said he was coping well. He smiled politely, showed up for family dinners, kept the lawn trimmed. But inside, Eli felt like a radio that had lost its signal. Noise was still there, but music was gone. What he never told anyone was this: he no longer felt anything in his own body. He didn't sleep deeply. Food didn't satisfy. Even warmth on his skin felt like it belonged to someone else. It wasn't grief alone, it was a kind of disappearance. One day during a quiet checkup, he asked me something that stayed with me. Is it normal to feel like you've stopped belonging to your body? That question doesn't get asked in medical textbooks. But it should, because Eli's story isn't unusual. It's just one that doesn't get told. We often hear about older adults losing strength, memory, balance. But we rarely talk about losing presence, that quiet, steady connection with ourselves that makes life feel textured, real, and worth showing up for. And yet, when we do talk about it, something powerful happens. Eli began to rebuild that connection slowly, not by trying to feel young again, but by gently noticing where life still stirred inside him. He bought softer sheets. He took slower showers. He gave himself permission to miss his wife and still be kind to his body. He relearned how to enjoy touch, not as something sexual, but as something sacred. It didn't change everything overnight, but it changed something essential. His eyes brightened. His posture lifted. He laughed, really laughed for the first time in years. You see, touch isn't just about pleasure. It's about belonging. When we tend to our bodies with kindness, we send a message that says, you still matter. You're still here. These stories aren't about technique. They're about recognition. The recognition that we are still alive, still capable of feeling joy, still connected to something deeper than age, loss, or routine. You may never hear these stories on the evening news, but I promise they are happening all around us, in quiet bedrooms, quiet hearts, and quiet moments of return. If any part of Eli's story resonates with you, I hope you'll subscribe and stay with us. And if you've had your own quiet return to yourself, big or small, share it below. We'd be honored to listen. Number 4, the 3 big lies. Melissa once told me something I'll never forget. She was 81, sharp as a tack, and still made the best peach cobbler in her town. But one afternoon during a quiet conversation, she said, I still want to feel close, but somewhere along the way, I started believing I wasn't allowed to. That's one of the most heartbreaking things I've heard, and I've heard it more than once. There are 3 big lies that many older adults quietly carry. They don't shout them, They don't even say them out loud, but these beliefs shape how they treat their own bodies, and more importantly, how they feel inside those bodies. Lie 1. I'm too old for that. This one sounds simple, almost harmless, but it's not. It's the voice that says pleasure, touch, intimacy. Those are for younger people. It turns natural human needs into something embarrassing. But here's the truth. Your body doesn't age out of needing comfort. It just needs it in different forms. Softer, slower maybe, but no less real. Lie 2, it's selfish to focus on myself. Many seniors have spent decades caring for others. They've been spouses, parents, caregivers, neighbors. So when the time comes to turn inward, to tend to their own bodies, they hesitate. They feel guilty. But self-care is not selfish. In fact, it's the opposite. When you reconnect with your own vitality, you show up more fully for the people you love. Lie 3. If I ignore it, the need will go away. Some believe that avoiding desire, touch, or sensation will make the longing disappear. But what really happens, the longing turns inward. It shows up as restlessness, irritability, insomnia, even sadness. The need doesn't vanish, it just speaks in a different language. And the longer we ignore it, the more disconnected we become. These lies are heavy, but here's the good news, they're not permanent. You can unlearn them. You can replace them with quieter truths. I am still worthy of touch. My body still matters. There is nothing shameful about needing to feel alive. Melissa eventually started speaking those truths to herself. Not loudly, not all at once, but enough to shift how she moved, how she rested, how she smiled. We can all do that. It starts with listening, really listening to the quiet wisdom underneath the noise of shame and old stories. If these truths are sinking in, go ahead and subscribe so you'll keep receiving more of this kind of reflection. And if you've wrestled with any of these old lies, you're not alone. Share your thoughts in the comments. We're building a space here where those stories are finally safe to tell. Number 5, a gentle guide to restoration. Raymond had lived most of his life by routine, early mornings, strong coffee, and a job that kept his hands busy. But after retirement, the structure he once thrived on began to feel empty. I don't know what to do with myself anymore, he told me one day. It's like I don't know how to be in my own skin. That's where the idea of restoration comes in, not as a rigid program or one-size-fits-all plan, but as a gentle invitation to reconnect. Not with youth, not with performance, but with presence. Many older adults hear about self-care and think of vitamins, walking shoes, or maybe deep breathing exercises. And while all of those are useful, what often gets left out is the quiet, private relationship we have with our own bodies, the one that asks for nothing more than attention, patience, and kindness. So where do you start? Step 1, prepare a space. This doesn't have to be elaborate, just a warm, quiet place where you feel at ease. A soft chair, a bedroom light you can dim, a blanket that brings comfort. This small act signals to your nervous system, I'm safe here. I can slow down. Step 2, begin with breath. Take a few moments to let your breath settle. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands rest. No goal, no judgment, just a simple return to being. Step 3, reintroduce sensation. Notice what it feels like to touch your own skin, your arms, your chest, the curve of your leg, not to fix, not to perform, just to notice. Explore lightly without expectation. Some parts may feel numb at first. That's okay. Sensation often returns in layers. Step 4, follow what feels good. You don't have to aim for anything dramatic. This is not about climax, it's about contact. It's about recognizing that you're still capable of pleasure in its simplest, most nourishing forms. Step 5, let it land. When you're ready, pause, rest. Take in what you felt, even if it was subtle. That quiet satisfaction, that return to yourself is where healing lives. What surprised Raymond most wasn't how different he felt after a few weeks. It was how natural it felt once he gave himself permission. I didn't know I missed this, he said, but now I don't want to go back to feeling numb. You don't need permission from anyone else to feel alive. But sometimes it helps to be reminded that you're allowed. If this gentle guide resonates with you, go ahead and subscribe. We're continuing this conversation with real honesty and care. And if you have your own way of restoring that connection, we'd love to hear it in the comments. You might help someone else find their way back too. Number 6, overcoming the walls within. Not long ago, I spoke with Lillian, a retired nurse in her early 80s. She'd spent her whole life caring for others, with grace, strength, and a quiet sense of duty. But when it came time to care for herself, she found it oddly difficult. "It's not that I don't want to feel better," she said. "I just don't know how to let myself." That's the unspoken wall many seniors run into, not a lack of desire, but a tangle of doubt, guilt, or fear that blocks the path back to the body. It's important to say this clearly. The journey back to your physical self isn't always smooth. Even when you know the steps, internal resistance can rise. And if you've lived decades holding everything together for everyone else, releasing into presence may feel unfamiliar, even indulgent. So let's name some of those common inner walls and how to gently move through them. Wall 1, the pressure to feel something right away. One of the biggest traps is expecting instant results. When nothing dramatic happens in the first few tries, some give up, thinking they're too far gone. But reconnection is a process. It's like thawing, not flipping a switch. Let the sensations come in layers. Even warmth, tingling, or a moment of ease is progress. Wall 2, the voice of judgment. Sometimes that voice sounds like a parent, a teacher, or even your younger self. "This is silly. You should be over this." But that voice isn't the truth, it's old programming. You don't need to silence it. You just need to hear something kinder and truer beneath it, like, "You're allowed to be gentle with yourself." Wall 3, shame that lingers in the background. This is the hardest one. Shame is sneaky. It shows up as tightness in the chest or silence that makes no sense. But you're not alone in this. Many carry it. The way through is compassion, not willpower. Every time you choose to care for your body instead of ignore it, you're rewriting an old story. Lillian struggled with these same walls. Some days she pushed through, some days she didn't. But she kept showing up. And slowly her touch softened, her rest deepened, her voice grew steadier. She wasn't just surviving anymore, she was beginning to feel like herself again. There's no perfect path, but there is a real one. One that honors your pace, your history, and your humanity. And if you've read this far, you're already on it. If this part of the journey spoke to you, subscribing means you'll keep walking with us. And if something in your heart stirred while reading this, tell us about it below. Someone else may need to hear they're not alone in this work. Conclusion. Your body is still listening. If there's one truth I hope you carry with you after this, it's this. You are not finished. Your body, even with all its changes and scars and seasons, still holds life. It still knows how to respond to warmth. It still remembers comfort. It still longs for connection, not just with others, but with you. You see, vitality isn't about age, it's about attention. When we stop paying attention to our bodies, they begin to fade, not out of failure, but from neglect. But when we return, even gently, something sacred happens. Energy returns, memory sharpens, sleep deepens, and maybe most importantly, we begin to feel like ourselves again. No one else can walk this path for you, but you are never walking it alone, whether you have already begun to reconnect or you're just now considering what that might look like. Know this, it's not too late, not for tenderness, not for sensation, not for the quiet joy of being home in your skin. Your body is still listening, and it's waiting not for perfection, but for presence. If this message touched something inside you, I invite you to like this video so it can reach others who may need it. And if you'd like to keep exploring this journey with us, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the upcoming conversations made just for you. Thank you truly for spending this time with me. I wish you peace, warmth, and a renewed connection to the beautiful life still unfolding within you. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You're worth it.